And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last week.
Yeah, they have nothing else.
Something unexpected happened on live television. One of daytime TV's most untouchable voices, Whoopi Goldberg, got hit with something she never saw coming. Cold, ruthless logic. No screaming match, no viral walkout, no dramatic on-air meltdown. Just one calm, calculated takedown from a guy not even in the room. And it didn't just shake her, it cracked the illusion surrounding one of television's most sacred safe spaces. It all started with a jab. The View, known for its loud opinions and clapping audiences, took aim at Turning Point USA, a conservative organization that had just hosted a summit with 5,000 high school and college students. Whoopi, never one to hold back, insinuated that the event had embraced extremist protesters who had shown up outside. A sharp accusation, cloaked in metaphor, casually tossed into the conversation like it was no big deal. But that's where she messed up. See, it wasn't just an offhand comment. It was a public swipe at thousands of young people, and someone was watching. That someone? Charlie Kirk, the founder of TPUSA. But instead of firing back on their turf, he did something smarter. He didn't go on the show. He didn't demand a rebuttal. He hit record on his podcast and calmly tore down Whoopi's entire argument with surgical precision. No drama, just facts. And the internet? It exploded. But before we get to that wildfire, let's rewind. Why was this moment so powerful? Because The View has operated like a fortress. Its hosts sit high on a pedestal, their takes packaged and delivered to an audience trained to applaud. Disagreement is rare. Fact-checking is non-existent. The show thrives on vibes, not validation. For years, it's gotten away with sweeping generalizations and hot takes dressed as truth. But not this time. Charlie's response wasn't loud. It was strategic. He pointed out the facts. The protesters were outside. They weren't part of the event. TPUSA staff had tried to remove them. And yet The View had drawn a link, metaphorical or not, and smeared thousands of innocent students. Students who now had to live under a shadow cast by primetime television, and it didn't stop with Charlie's video. A cease and desist letter was sent, legal pressure mounted. Suddenly, The View was forced to issue an on-air apology, a rare moment in daytime TV history. Whoopi admitted she had made assumptions. She said, "My bad," but the damage was already done. And for the first time in years, the show's smug energy flickered. The apology was clipped, shared, memed, and replayed. It wasn't just an apology, it was evidence. Evidence that the untouchable had been touched, that the high and mighty could be challenged. And not with yelling, but with logic. That's what made this moment so magnetic. Charlie didn't just respond, he exposed. He didn't shout. He dissected. While The View relied on volume and synchronized head nods, he brought receipts. He showed that you don't need a big studio to make an impact. You just need Wi-Fi, a microphone, and the guts to say what millions are already thinking. The fallout was instant. TikTok lit up with edits and stitches. YouTube Shorts were flooded with reactions. Twitter threads dove deep, breaking down every line of Whoopi's apology and every frame of Charlie's response. The audience, once passive, had become investigators. And what they found wasn't pretty, because once you lift the curtain, it's hard to unsee what's behind it. Whoopi, long hailed as the queen of midday commentary, didn't get destroyed in a fiery debate. She got quietly, efficiently dismantled by a man who never even stepped on her stage. And that kind of takedown, that's the kind that sticks. It doesn't erupt like a volcano. It seeps in like a leak, quiet, steady, undeniable. And that's when the real shift began. Suddenly, The View didn't feel so bulletproof. The applause breaks sounded hollow. The host's punchlines felt forced. The magic was gone, replaced by awkward pauses and sanitized takes. The studio, once a fortress of opinion, now felt like it had windows. And the viewers, they were looking in. Because once you've seen the holes in the narrative, you can't pretend they're not there. And here's what's wild. Charlie didn't even act like he won. He didn't gloat. He didn't double down. He simply made his point and moved on. No encore, no repeat, no dramatic victory lap. Just a clean, devastating fact drop and a quiet exit. The kind of move that hits harder than any rant ever could. The aftermath wasn't just a trending clip. It became a case study in how truth, when calmly told, can break through even the noisiest media machines. Viewers who hadn't watched The View in years were suddenly tuning in, not to be inspired, but to see if the hosts would flinch again. And they did. Not with words, but with energy. The fire was gone, the boldness muted. You could hear it in the fake laughs, in the over-rehearsed transitions. They had been rattled, and no amount of applause could cover it up. The digital world noticed. The moment Whoopi's voice trembled, even slightly, became a meme. The pause before her apology, replayed 1,000 times, and not out of cruelty, but curiosity. Because when you've been the voice of certainty for years, even the smallest crack becomes news. And Charlie? He didn't fan the flames. He didn't chase the fame. He moved on, and which only made the moment louder. Because the internet won't move on when the moment still matters. Reddit threads dissected the timeline. YouTube creators built full breakdowns. TikTok turned the incident into parody and poetry. Even Instagram Reels got in on the action. Every platform became a courtroom, and Whoopi's monologue was Exhibit A, the irony. It wasn't even about politics. It was about exposure. A reminder that polished panels and well-lit studios don't equal truth. That calm, confident storytelling can be more dangerous to misinformation than any argument. And here's the final twist. This wasn't about Charlie Kirk being some unstoppable force. It was about him saying out loud what millions were already thinking. That daytime TV's grip on cultural authority is slipping. That viewers aren't just watching anymore, they're fact-checking, replaying, reacting. They're not clapping on cue. They're asking questions. And when a question slips through the cracks, the whole set starts to shake because it only takes one video, one calm, calculated response to turn a media empire into a meme factory. And once that happens, the game changes. Forever. So what now? Will The View recover? Of course, TV shows always do. Retakes, new topics, new guests. The machine keeps moving. But the audience, that's where the change sticks. Because once you've seen the glitch in the Matrix, it's hard to go back to clapping for rehearsed outrage. So, the next time Whoopi drops a dramatic monologue with that signature eyebrow raise, remember this moment. Remember the apology. Remember the shift. And remember that somewhere, someone with a microphone, a podcast, or a camera is calmly uploading truth to an audience that's tired of being spoon-fed sound bites. That's the real power of this story. No drama, no shouting, just clarity, delivered with calm precision and a touch of savage logic. That's how the illusion cracked. That's how trust is rebuilt, not with louder voices, but with better ones. And if you're one of those people who's tired of the noise, who's tired of being told what to think by shows built on applause tracks and polished outrage, then maybe it's time to follow the voices that actually bring receipts. If you're here for the truth, not the fluff, go ahead and hit that like button, smash subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. The internet's watching, and this time, it's not looking away.